Flosstube, Olivia here, Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. Today is Friday, September 20th. It's about 11 o'clock here in my neck of the woods, and it has been 2 weeks since my last update. Hope you've all been well and that you've been stitching and creating and making all of the fun things, whether it be for fall or Christmas. I've seen a lot of both pop up in my Instagram, and I am really enjoying seeing it. Last 2 weeks have been a little bit chaotic. We are getting my daughter Allison ready to go off to college. She moves into her dorm on Sunday, and it has been a little bit stressful for her. She has been dealing with a lot of anxiety, and I think she's doing a little bit better today because she did hear from one of her high school friends who is also attending the same school, and she has already moved in. She's been there for a week. I think she must be like in the honors program, and so she reached out to Allison and sent her a picture of her dorm room door with her name on it, with Allison's name on it. And so Allison was kind of asking her some questions, and her friend was like, I love it. She's like, I was scared, but I got here and it's been a lot of fun, and I've got to meet new people. And so she was able to share her experience, which helped Allison a little bit. But I know as it gets, these last couple of days, I'm sure that, I can only imagine. So if you guys could just keep her in your thoughts and prayers, that would be amazing. So the next 2 weeks, I'm not really sure what will happen as far as like my quilting or my stitching. I know that I had talked about there was a quilt panel that I showed you, and I was waiting for the fabric to come, which it did, and I was gonna make it into a quilt and have it to show you in this video, but it did not happen. I have kind of cleared my schedule for the next week, and so hopefully I will be able to get that quilt done, as well as the project bags that I have. They're like cut and ready to assemble, and so they're just waiting for me to be able to sit down and begin working on them again. I appreciate everyone's patience as they wait for project bags. They will be back into the shop very soon, I promise. Speaking of project bags, in my last 2 videos, I announced 2 winners, and both of those winners have not claimed their prizes yet. And I realized that I don't really have like a parameter for, when, you're like, I announce a winner, and then there's never really like you have until XYZ to claim it. So since I hadn't really, said that, I can't redraw a winner yet for both of the project bags. So I basically will give the winners one more chance. And then if I do not hear from them by October 3rd, I will redraw from the videos that those project bags were offered up as giveaways, and I will announce the winners in my upcoming giveaway if they still have not been claimed by October 3rd. So first unclaimed was Joyce Restano, and she won this project bag. And so Joyce, if you happen to come across this video and it's before October 3rd, send an email to pumpkinhollowquilting@gmail.com with your address, and I will get this out in the mail to you in next week. And then the second unclaimed prize, and this one was from about a month ago, was for this project, and it's for Misty Dupree. And so Misty, if you happen to see this video, you did win, and you have until October 3rd to claim your prize. So send me an email with your address, pumpkinhollowquilting@gmail.com, and I will get it out in the mail to you. However, if I do not hear from either, I will announce the new winners in 2 weeks. And then going forward, you will just have until my next video to claim it, and then if you don't, I will redraw again. So I noticed some of the other floss tubers were also doing that too, and I get it with summer ending and the start of school. Even I am behind in my floss tube, so but hopefully both of those winners will stumble across my video again, and they will see that they did win, because I really would hate if, and this was my biggest fear, is why I didn't like redraw for them both, is that they would contact me after I had re-announced the winners, and then I would feel awful. So the parameters will be that you have until the Thursday before I make my next video. I usually do them on Fridays every other week, and so I will, it's kind of the downside of giveaways. You have like a due date, and also sometimes I have a tendency to misplace things. I put them in a safe place, and I would hate after like a month to put it in a safe place and then I lose it, and then the giveaway winner contacts me 2 months down the road and I'm like, I don't remember which one that is or where I put it. So yes, hopefully they will get in touch with me, but if they do not, you could still win those 2 project bags, so stay tuned. I also have a giveaway winner for last week's video, as well as a brand new giveaway for this video, so stay tuned. Happy mail. So I got some happy mail in the mail over the past 2 weeks. I was contacted, which I just realized that I forgot to grab the ornament. Hold please. So happy mail. I was contacted by Sherry DeYoung, and she said that she had an extra copy of Primitive Quilts magazine. And I used to be able to pick up a copy of this when I would go to Joann's, and then they quit carrying it, and then I used to be able to get it at Bi-Mart, and then they quit carrying it, and then it's kind of one of those things where out of sight, out of mind. But I have some older copies of these that I enjoy flipping through. I love Primitive Quilts, and so I was so excited when she said she had an extra copy and that she was going to send it to me. It is chock full of amazing projects, and I have pretty much talked myself into stitching this one, or making it. I do have some homespun, which is what it is, what the blocks are made out of, and then all I need to do is get some of the background fabric, but I absolutely love it. Here's a little bit better picture of it, and so I think that will be so cozy for Christmas and winter. So a lot of fun. And then also in the package was these Little House Needleworks Early Americans, and it is 1, 2, and 6. And so she told, since I already have or already received the full set from Cheryl, Sherry told me to do it as a giveaway, and so look for this in an upcoming giveaway. I'm thinking in November, because I'm pretty positive that's when I am going to start stitching all of them. I'm going to start stitching them just like I did with Glitter Village. It'll just be in my rotation, and that's when I'm going to start. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll give those away in November in my Thankful for You All giveaways. And then she also sent this amazing ornament that she stitched for me for my seasonal tree. And it has been, when it came, I still had my sunflower tree up, and so it hung on my sunflower tree. And now it is hanging on my Halloween tree because I did decorate. And I will hopefully show you like a home tour in my next video, but the house is only about 90% decorated. There's still a couple of things I need to do, like the front porch is not decorated at all, and so I need to work on that maybe over the next week. It'll be a good way to get my mind off of the fact that Allison is at college and not at home. So anyway, so sweet of her to send those to me. Like I said, everything in the magazine, I love it. So if you're a quilter and you love Primitive Quilts, you might want to check out that magazine. And then I was contacted by Linda Dunleavy, and she asked me if I would be interested in some vintage lace and zippers, and I was like, yes, please. And so she sent me this bag of vintage lace. It belonged to her mom and her aunt. And then she had all of these zippers that she no longer wanted and asked me if I would be interested in them as well. Yes, please. So that was so generous of Linda to send them on to me, to think of me, and I really appreciate it. So thank you so much. And then haul. So this video might be a little bit more faster paced than normal because I do have a quilting client coming around noon, and then my brother Matthew and his family and my grandma are all coming over for dinner tonight for pizza. We're having like a send-off dinner for Allison, only we're not calling it that. So they are going to be coming over and hanging out, so I have to go clean my house. I have to clean my bathroom most especially. And then when I did my last video, no joke, it took 7 hours just to get it to back up to Google Drive to where I could go in and pull it off of my drive and edit it and do all of that kind of stuff. And it was like all day, no joke, it was all day. And then by the time I got it onto YouTube and it was ready to go, it was 11:30. It was just insane. And so I thought maybe I better make my video this week a little bit faster, so that way it doesn't take 7 hours to upload. I only got one little bit of a haul, and that is the Blue Flower Night Walk Down. And I really love it. It's beautiful. I keep thinking, did I need to actually purchase it? Couldn't I have waited maybe a little while? All yes answers. But I was feeling a little bit low, and it made me happy to, have it arrive in the mail. And I am planning on stitching this maybe in the new year. But yeah, I really love it. I don't really consider it a Halloween chart. I know some people do. I just feel like it's just a very lovely, whimsical piece, and it will go on my sampler wall, even though it's not technically a sampler, but I just love it. I probably will do it with DMC, except maybe her dress. I think for her dress and the cat, I might do what is called for. And I picked it up from an online shop called Threads Entwined. And so when it came, she sent me this skein of onyx gast. So the shipping, amazingly fast. I ordered it, and I think the next day it went out. And I love that when you click on something, and there's nothing worse than when you go to buy something and it takes forever to ship out, and then it takes 2 weeks to get to you. And so I love that, I purchased it like late afternoon, and when I woke up in the morning, there was a shipping notification that said it was on its way, and then it arrived like the day after. So just amazing shipping. Highly recommend. I definitely will be back to purchase other things from her shop as well as time goes on. So, but that is all my haul. I know I've been trying to really think about things a little bit. Like, do I really need it right now? Or is it just because it's eye candy and I just have to have it? So I've been trying to really think about things before I purchase it. Do I really like it? Do I see myself stitching it? And I actually went through my stash of charts, and there were some charts that I kind of came back into stitching about 3 years ago. And so when I did make some purchases that, I liked at the time, but now they're all great, but I'm not in love with them, and I don't think I will stitch them, because that was the big question. Will you stitch this? And the answer was probably not. So I definitely will be, passing them on to somebody that would stitch it, would love it, would stitch it, and not, because it's not fair that it's just going to sit in my box waiting and waiting and waiting, and I just would rather see it go to a good home. So let's talk about finishes. So I think in my last 2 videos I talked about Night Flight, which was the stitch piece that I was working on for an exchange piece in the Stitchers Coven on Facebook. I did finish it, and it is on its way. When I checked the tracking on it this morning, it is in its country of destination. I was expecting that it would still be held up in customs in LA, but it is gone, and I think it will be delivered soon, I hope. And if you follow me on Instagram, if you follow me on Facebook, you already saw it. But I will insert a picture of my finished night flight right here. I think it turned out pretty well. I like it. It was kind of hard to send it off because it was so cute when it was done, and I honestly, I just hope my partner really loves it, because I still had that anxiety about sending it off, and I thought back to that table runner exchange I did and the nasty email that I received after she received it telling me how she hated it and everything she hated about it. And so I really hope that my partner loves it. I tried to like do a little bit of like internet stalking and like on Instagram and Facebook, but I couldn't. There was a lot of people with her name, and so I could not figure out which one it was, and I don't even know if she does Instagram, and so I was flying blind, because they just, you filled out this form, and then that's the form that you received from your person that you were creating for, and it really didn't have like a whole lot of information. Like it didn't have the like their Facebook or their Instagram, where you could go and like get a feel for them. So I hope that she loves it. I enjoyed making it. I was really surprised because it looks like it's deceptively small, and it is not. I used 2 full skeins of Blackboard and like 2, so I had to get a 3rd skein, and I used 2, you know how it comes, like the Gentle Arts, it comes cut in 1 yard increments, and I had to use 2 more of those to finish this. And so it looks very small, it looks deceptively small, and it looks like you would not actually need to put that much thread into it, but you do. And so I stitched the black with Blackboard, and the orange was done in Orange Marmalade, which is my new favorite color. The variegation, spectacular. I love it. I'm definitely going to use it in a lot of Halloween stuff going forward, because it's that bright burnt orange, and it's fantastic. Also, I am in the Dixie Sampler Exchange group on Facebook. And so at the end of this month, I need to get my exchange piece to finish, and I decided to stitch for my partner in that, Where the Bittersweet Blooms by Brenda Gervais. I just decided to do the pumpkin and the crow with the vine that came up out of the pumpkin. I think it turned out super, super cute. I thought I was gonna run out of, this was Gentle Arts Pumpkin Pie, and I thought I was gonna run out right when I got to here. I mean, I had all of this stitched, and then I only had like two skeins of thread left. And so I thought I was gonna run out, and I thought, oh man. And of course it's sold out on 1-2-3 Stitch, so I was gonna have to take the gamble of going up to Acorns and Threads and hoping that it was in stock and that the die count matched. But it was just enough, and I stitched it all the way down. There was only like an inch of thread left, but I was able to finish it. I stitched this, so this would have originally been a 32 count, but I tea and coffee dyed it and then baked it in the oven with Fauna Pfeiffer's tutorial, and it actually shrunk down to probably a 35 count. It's definitely smaller than my other one, because my other one is a 32 count, and this one is quite a bit smaller. But it is finished, and I'm trying to decide if I want to do it as a pillow finish, or I do have this other little thing I picked up at Michael's. It kind of looks like a tombstone, and it stands up on a wooden base, and then it's a chalkboard. And so I thought, well, maybe I could, finish it that way, because it is it's a Halloween exchange, so I think my partner would like it. But yeah, turned out really great. I used the called for, so whatever the called for were in here, I used it. And also my new favorite, kind of like a brownish, like a heritagey type color, is the bird, which is Gentle Arts Wood Trail. That's also a brand new favorite, one that I know that I will be using many times in the future for like the browns and the because it does have a little bit of bluish cast to it as well, but not like overpowering. It's just like a hint here and there. So I definitely know I will be using that in the weeks and months and years and decades ahead. So then another finish I had. So if you follow me on Facebook and on Instagram, you would have already seen this. I finished it last week, and that is Glitter House 9 by Cottage Needleworks. And if you've been watching my video since the beginning, you know I've been working on this. And so here is my finish. So I think it looks spectacular. I stitched it on 32 count raw silver Edinburgh linen that I picked up from 123 Stitch. You just need and I get this question a lot about the size of my linen. So it is a 16, it's 16 by 16, but it's actually just a smidge wider on the one side. But yeah, you just need a piece that is 16 by 16 if you're going to stitch it on 32 count. I used all of the called for classic colorworks except for bamboo. I substituted 3865 DMC in its place. If you have been thinking about stitching this, if you have it in your stash and you're thinking about getting it out, I would not recommend using the DMC metallics. I think it's like light metallics. It was very difficult to work with, and so I would actually recommend getting like a Kreinik or a Petite Treasure braid in the gold color. I think you will like it a lot better than the DMC. I think it's light metal or metallic effects or something like that. So, but I think it turned out fantastic. I have not decided on a frame yet. I know that there's places online where you can buy pieces of frame and then you can assemble them, and I think I will probably do that, buy it in some unpainted wood and then grunge it up and assemble the frame and maybe take it to Michael's and have them pull it for me. So I am excited to have it up on my wall next to my vintage Christmas tree this Christmas. And I'm so happy that, again, that I have that stitch rotation, because that has really helped me, get some things done, which makes me very happy, makes me feel very accomplished. And then I'm going to talk about some previous finishes. So now that all my Halloween decorations are out, I came across some previous finishes from last year and the year before, and so I will be showing those in my upcoming videos as we go through October. So I'll have some quilts to show you and some other stitched pieces that I did. But in this video, I did not pull it. I only pulled a couple of things because I was afraid that my video would get really long, and I was trying to keep it kind of short today. So this is Cinnamon Stars by Plum Street Samplers. It's just on the tip of my tongue, and I finished this last year. You will actually be able to see the mess that is my dungeon. But I did it with all DMC threads, and I can see that let me hold it back a little ways because I can see my quilting frame, my quilting bars in there. There we go. So I stitched this with all DMC threads. I worked on it last fall. Pretty positive that is a 32 count vintage country mocha, and it's probably one of my favorite things that I have stitched. And if you watched my last video, I was talking about the October 31st and the frame that I had picked up for it that ended up being too small for it. This was the frame that I had originally picked out for that, and so it was perfect for Cinnamon Stars. So turned out very lovely. It's one of my favorites, like I said. Absolutely love it. And I'm running out of space here. Oh, and that was just my yeah, this is my quilt machine right there. And then the other thing that I finished, this would have been the year before last. This was by the Primitive Hare. I had belonged to, she did a group, and I'm not sure that she does the group anymore, but it was like Early Stitchers Club, I think is what it was called. And this was what she had picked out for Halloween. It's pretty wonky because this was the first time I had ever attempted a Priscilla finish. And so it's not perfect. At some point I will probably pull this off and do something different with it, but for right now it looks okay. It's in a vintage frame. This frame was actually, it actually had my parents' wedding photo in it, but they have been divorced for 20 years. And I didn't think they would mind that I took their wedding frame and used it for my Halloween stuff. So I don't remember what I stitched it on. I know it's DMC, but yeah, it turned out very, very cute. I think it was my first Halloween stitched finish that I did. So it was a lot of fun. And so I have been working on the Cricut Collection's Skeleton Krew, which I love, and it's been so much fun, and it spends a lot of its time in a Q-snap, and so when I take it out to do my videos or take it out to move it around, that's the only time I see the progress on it, but it is coming along. Where are we at? Let me move over here. I think it is coming along fantastically. I'm stitching it on a piece of 32 count Picture This Plus Heritage, and it is absolutely perfect for this piece. Stitching it with DMC threads, and the moon up here is the glow-in-the-dark Kreinik, and I'm trying to decide if I want to put another strand of Kreinik in here because there's already two, and I'm trying to decide if I want to go back in and fill it in a little bit more, or if that just kind of lends itself to a spooky moon up there in the corner. So I am back down in this part down here. So I was working on the skeletons, working my way over to the mast and the front of the ship. Hoping to have this one finished by Halloween. That would be awesome. I don't know that it would be framed by Halloween, but it would be really cool to have it finished by Halloween. And with Glitter Village being finished, that brought up the great question of what do I stitch in its place, because I do have a number of whips in the mocking basket of whips that I would like to see get finished. And so the first one I thought I better get to working on was the Birds of a Feather Sally Spencer. This is the stitch along that I'm co-hosting with Deborah, Canopied Stitches on Instagram. A couple of people have finished their Sallys and they look amazing, and I am so happy that so many people joined us in our stitch along. It's been a lot of fun. And so when I finished Glitter Village, I thought I should get this out and pop this into my weekend rotation because I would like to get it finished by the end of the year. So I have, let's see, I worked on it this last weekend, and so when I picked it back up again, I think I had the bird, the numbers, these letters, and I think I had these letters right here. And so I finished these, worked on these, and the reason there's more over here, more of the alphabet, but in my Q snap it's only like from here to right here, so I just figured I'll just go down and then I'll go back over. So I think what I'll do is I'm gonna finish the alphabet and then go back and work on this, and there's like a flower over here and then another border and then the bottom. And so I think that is the path I will take on this one. I'm stitching it with all of the called for. I know that a couple people told me that you will run out of a couple of colors, and so I'm pretty positive that it is probably going to be Brethren Blue, because that has been all of this kind of in here has been Brother in Blue, and I have a feeling that's what I'm gonna run out of. So my plans for the third rotation, the third, I guess it would be, it's not technically a whip yet, but it will be as soon as I throw the first stitch in. That is going to be Hickety Pickety by Brenda Gervais. And I got this like a month ago probably. Yeah, I think it's been like a month or a month and a half ago. It's one of her new releases. And I told myself I could not start it until I had finished Night Flight for the Stitcher's Coven Halloween Smalls Exchange and my Dixie sampler exchange piece. I had to finish both of those before I could start this one. So I will be starting this today, and I'm going to do it on a piece of 36 count Light Mocha that I picked up from 123 Stitch a while ago. It is a remnant of something else. So there's plenty here that I will be able to do Hickety Pickety. I actually think I'll be able to stitch it this way. I am going to look through, I don't have any of the colored for threads except for like one or two. So I'm going to look through the fancy floss that I have, and because I kind of want the chicken to, you know, since there's so much of the chicken and quite a bit of the wagon, I am going to look through my stash of overdyes and see what I have that might work, and then everything else will be DMC. So I'm looking forward to getting that one started and having some progress to show you in my next update. And then one other previous finish, I just pulled a quilt, which I had intended to have a couple of more quilts in here, but I will show those in my next video. So this is a wall hanging that I made. It's from Crabapple Hill Quilts. I don't remember, I think it might just be called Halloween. I'm pretty positive you can still get it. But I stitched this like 4 years ago, I would say. And it was a lot of fun to stitch. And then I just quilted it, basically just to tack it down. But it was lots and lots of fun. I think my friend gave me the pattern because she was either wanted someone to stitch it with her, or she had already stitched it, I don't remember. But it was a lot of fun to stitch, and yeah, I think I did it with all DMC threads. Yes, I would have only done it with DMC threads because I did not know that there was such a thing as overdyed floss back then. I actually didn't learn about overdyed floss until I started doing cross stitch. And now the overdyed floss is making its way into hand embroidery. So, excuse me. So in my next video, I will show some of my Halloween quilts that I have, because they're out now. And hopefully maybe I'll do a little home tour, and I'll just insert it at the end of next week's video. And then hopefully the house will be completely decorated by then. I have like a 3-tiered tray that I need to figure out how to decorate, and then of course my front porch. But I think it looks pretty good. I feel like last year the house was decorated a lot better, so I don't know what I did differently. My husband disagrees. He thinks it's decorated perfectly, but I am always my own worst critic, so I will always find the fault in everything that I do. I think that's just human nature. So yes, next week hopefully we'll have a home tour to show you in my video and a couple of quilts. So next week, or in my next update, my update might be a little long, and I will also film it inside of the house. That way you can see the tree decorated behind me and the stitch piece that I have next to it. I think it looks very cozy and lovely. Now let's move on to giveaway. So in my last video, I showed this project bag that I made, and the question was, what is your favorite candy? A lot of great answers, made me very, very hungry. A lot of people like Reese's peanut butter cups. It's delicious. I mean, it's peanut butter and it's chocolate together. It's like perfection. So the giveaway for the project bag, let me show it again, is KJS. So KJS, get a hold of me. Send me an email with your name and address to pumpkinhollowquilting@gmail.com, and I will get this project bag sent out to you in the coming week. I will give you until my next video to claim, and then I will redraw another person if it has not been claimed by then. Hopefully, KJS, you're going to watch my video and you're going to see. I will also comment on your comment. Thank you so much for entering. And by the way, thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my video recently. Once again, it was coming up as a recommended video, which is amazing. And so I have gotten a lot of new subscribers, so welcome to my channel. I am almost at 3,000. And so I, of course, will have a special giveaway when I hit 3,000. And to thank you to everyone who subscribes to my channel, who likes the videos, who comments, who interacts with me across all the social media platforms. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. I would not be doing this if it wasn't for all of you guys, and you're rooting me on and, you know, keeping me accountable for the things that I am stitching. So I really do appreciate it. Because of all of you guys who are so wonderful to me, in November I will be doing a bunch of giveaways that are thankful for you. That's what I'm going to call them, thankful for you giveaways. November has 3 weeks in it, and so each video will have a group of giveaways because I'm just so thankful for all of you guys who do. You like, you subscribe, you come find me on social media. You tell me you love my videos, you know, you guys are just amazing, and I really do appreciate all of you guys. So for this week's giveaway, so a little bit earlier I talked about how I went through my stash, and I realized, so I have a very, like, I can see where my stitching, like the things that I like, I can see those now in all of the charts that I've been picking up in the last couple of years. But prior to that, coming back into cross stitching after, you know, not being, you know, not stitching, not knowing about the amazing world of cross stitch in 20 years, not knowing it existed beyond those dimension kits, of course it was like, you see all the things. And however, now that I go through my stash, it's like, it's been sitting here for 3 years now. It doesn't seem fair that it is sitting here just basically collecting dust when it could go to somebody who would appreciate it, who would stitch it, who would love it. And so this giveaway, I'm going to give away some charts because I want to see them go to a good home. And these, so this is a whole set. So these are the Lizzie Kate Flippets. They came out a number of years ago, but I bought them used off of Amazon, or not Amazon, I bought them used off of eBay. So they don't have the buttons, but I don't mind when I buy things used and there's no buttons on it because I can find my own or I can figure out something else. So it's the entire set, so it's a full year, January through December, and it basically just needs to go to somebody who will love it and who will stitch it. And so this is giveaway number 1. So the series of Flip It by Lizzie Kate. So that's number 1. So if you're interested in that, it's number 1. Number 2 is this Filigree Moonlight. So this is very cute. I've seen this stitched up. It is so, so cute. But looking back on it, I realized that this is not my style of stitching, even though it's very cute. It's whimsical, so you would think it would be. And I do think it's very cute, but I'm realistic enough with myself to know that I will not stitch this. And so I would rather see this go on to someone who will love it and who will stitch it. And so if you are interested in Filigree Moonlight, by the way, it's brand new. It's just been sitting in my stash for 2.5 years, 2.5, 3 years. So if you are interested in stitching this, it is number 3. It's number 2, not number 3. Sorry. So it's because I'm looking at number 3. Number 1 is the Lizzie Kate Flippets. Number 2 is Filigree's Moonlight. Number 3. Okay, so funny story about number 3. Last year, so it was September, October, November, I was like busy quilting, and I quilted so much that I really just didn't come up for air for anything. I didn't make myself anything. I was stitching on stuff, but it wasn't anything that I really was finishing. I wasn't stitching on any quilts. It was all client all the time, September, October, November, and December. And so I finished my last quilt on like December 22nd. And so I went on to 123 Stitch. I was just kind of hanging out. We were getting ready to go to my sister-in-law and brother-in-law's for Christmas. And so I was just kind of hanging out, just kind of taking it easy, because it had been a long couple of months. And so I went on 123 Stitch, and I saw that Forest Goddess had come back into stock. So I bought it for myself. And I thought, this is my reward for all the quilting that I had done. And so when I saw it had come back in stock, I bought it for myself, and clicked the button, bought it on Christmas Eve, and I was very, very excited because I love this one. Let me get in a little bit closer. But unbeknownst to me, later on that night, I would also receive Forest Goddess from the box of Stitchy awesomeness that my sister-in-law and brother-in-law gave me for Christmas. So I was like, well, I will just take this one, and maybe I will see if I can trade someone, or maybe I'll just sell it for what I paid for it. And I just saw my client come, so sorry about that. I knew my client was coming at noonish, and I knew it was getting closer. And I'm not wearing my glasses, so I didn't see the car pull up. Anyway, pardon the interruption. So, as I was saying, what was I saying? Oh yeah, about the Stitchy box of awesomeness. So anyway, I was like, well, I could probably, sell the chart that I bought, and sell it for what I paid for it, and then maybe buy one of, another memorabilia, because I love them all. And I just never did that. And so this has just been hanging out in the box, and it needs to go to someone who will love it, who will want to stitch, who will want to stitch it, who will love it, and that way it will, it just needs to go to somebody who will love it, because I already have one. And so it's silly, and I've already got it partially kitted. So so this is number 3. So if you're interested, you can just pick one, you can pick 2, you can pick all 3. I will pick multiple winners, so there will be 3 winners next week, or not next week, but the week after. So there will be 3 winners. So if you are interested in them, in the comments after you answer the question. This is number 1, Filigree Moonlight number 2, Memorabilia Forest Goddess number 3. So you just need to put those down below after you answer the question, which this episode's question is, what is your favorite sound? So I'm actually going to do 2. Obviously, the laughter of my children is number 1, and number 2 is when you go out into the woods and it's very quiet, all you hear is nature around you, and then the wind goes through the trees, and you can actually hear the wind through the trees, and the sound that the trees make when they are rocking back and forth. That is one of my favorite sounds. It's very relaxing. So what is your favorite sound? Answer it in the comment section down below, and then put whether you want number 1, number 2, or number 3, all 3, or however many. And then I will pick 3 winners and announce them in my next video, which will be in 2 weeks. So I think I have pretty much covered everything. Thank you so much for sticking with me this long. If you have, I do appreciate it. I hope that you have a great couple of weeks. If you would like to see what I am up to in the meantime of the 2 weeks, you can find me on Instagram, which I am Pumpkin Hollow Quilts on there. I have a Facebook page, which is Pumpkin Hollow Quilting. You are always welcome to follow me on both platforms. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comment section below, or you can email me at pumpkinhollowquilting@gmail.com. I also do have a blog, which I've been trying to be a little bit better about, you know, blogging, especially putting in like what I use and that kind of stuff and all my stitching. And that's Pumpkin Hollow Quilting at blogspot.com. So, I also have an Etsy shop, which most of you guys already know, and I already had talked about it, but it is Pumpkin Hollow Quilts on Etsy. I promise, project bags are coming to the shop. Like I said, they're in pieces. I just have to assemble them all together. So bear with me as we get through these next couple of weeks, because I have a feeling that they're either going to be fantastic or it's going to be rough. So I'm hoping it's going to be fantastic. I'm hoping Allison will get there and she will love it, because obviously I wouldn't want my child to be miserable, but I really think that when she gets there, she's gonna really love it. Everybody that I talk to that goes to Western Oregon has only kind things to say about it, so fingers crossed, you know, say some prayers. We really could use them. So anyway, that is all for this update. I will see you all in 2 weeks. Happy stitching, everyone. Oh wait, for the giveaway. Honestly, the rules for the giveaway: you must be a subscriber, like the video, and you know, just answer the question down below. That's all you have to do. I think what happened was when my lady came, I got a little bit frazzled. So anyway, that is it. So I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Have a great one. Bye.